Our topic for October is sowing seeds of growth, as you heard announced this morning. In particular, the message title today is You Have No Alibi. And that is a reference to this idea that you and I, well, there's no good reason on earth or in heaven why we should not succeed when we use the spiritual tools that we are learning about to move towards the direction of our greater good in life. Now, I refer you to chapter 6 in Living the Science of Mind, the book that we're reading together this year, to read about that idea, because this morning in the message, I want to continue and complete what we started talking about last week, and that is about manifestation, this idea of bringing into being that which is our greater yet to be, or our heart's desire. And last week I said that there are several important, significant considerations to keep in mind when working with the world around us and the world in us. And the first is to get clear on my personal concept of God and to put that in a very prominent place so that I'm not living under an inherited concept of divinity, and I've really thought about it. Then second of all, to revere and respect that divinity, the creator, creation, life around me, that one indestructible self-existent cause, the shining self, whatever it is, to practice being devoted to it as it appears in the things and the people in life around me. And the third is to listen to that presence that is everywhere, all over creation and in me, because that's going to inform me and the choices that I make when I'm planning on what to go for. And finally, I talked about relationship, nurturing relationship, treating people with respect and kindness, because nothing in creation comes to us without the collaboration of people and things. Those were the four things we talked about. And without these considerations, then really we're reduced to a kind of secular program of motivational work and working with goals and schedules and plans and bringing willpower into play. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that spiritual living is all about bringing the inner life into the mix and looking at how to relate to the big questions in life and the role that spirit plays in all of it. That's the difference. And if you missed last week, there's no worries. You can go to our website, and under the audio and video tab, we have all of our videos there. They're free to access, and it's a catalog that you can access at any time to get up to speed. So we're talking about spiritual living and how spiritual living really is, well, it's a shift in focus away from control over life and things and towards living in harmony with life, in cooperation with life. And when I say life, I mean the uppercase life, the all-encompassing, overarching divine life, to live in harmony with that. And even though that is the focus of spiritual living, we acknowledge that it's very difficult to have such a high-minded ideal on the focus of my mind as my relationship to the thing itself when my basic human needs are not being met. It's very difficult to be thinking godly thoughts when I can't pay the mortgage or my children are not properly clothed. So in our spiritual living, we learn how to use our minds for specific purposes with our prayer and meditation, whether that specific purpose is to acquire a job or adequate housing or to be well, so that I can get all of those things organized. And once I get them as settled as those things will be settled, then I can shift my attention to explore the larger issues in life. Because the focus of spiritual living is not so much about things and conditions as it is about the larger issues, like, who am I? What am I? Where am I? what is thinking my mind? Is there any freedom? What is mine to do? This is what spiritual living is about. Nevertheless, if you look at our statements of belief, it says right there in clear English, it says, we believe in the control of conditions, which sounds like we're very much into dabbling with the world around us. But to get to the real focus and the deep meaning, you have to read the rest of the sentence. The rest of the sentence says, through the power of this mind. Now, it's not talking about this mind. It's talking about the mind of creation itself, God. And then it becomes apparent to us, if the idea in this mind for controlling conditions is out of sync with the mind, trouble is on the horizon. So at some point, hopefully, in the working to get our life in order so we can live the spiritual life, there comes a realization that states of being, such as joyfulness, gratitude, compassion, don't have to be as dependent on outer circumstances as we are led to believe. That's true freedom. That's spiritual living. When I was thinking about this yesterday, I got the word that next weekend the choir starts its season and they'll be singing, and I'm so joyful about that. And I remembered one of the songs that the choir sang last season that is a commentary on this very topic. And so I looked up the lyrics and I found them. It's by Dr. Keith Kent. It's called The Paradoxical Commandments. And apparently, Mother Teresa had an adaptation of this very piece of writing in her home. It goes like this. People are often unreasonable, irrational, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you will win some unfaithful friends and some genuine enemies. Succeed anyway. If you are honest and sincere, people may deceive you. Be honest and sincere anyway. What you spend years creating, others could destroy overnight. Create anyway. If you find sincerity and happiness, some may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today will often be forgotten. Do good anyway. Give the best you have, and it will never be enough. Give your best anyway. In the final analysis, it is between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway. So that is the point of spiritual living, to shift the focus from outside to inside. Nevertheless, while we are managing our lives, we want to learn to manifest, meditate, pray, in a responsible way. And so I bring to you 3 additional considerations for you this week. I'm going to start where I let off last week, and that is with the concept of relationship. This idea that I'm not separate from all of creation. I'm not this discrete little unit that is not connected to anything at all. No, in fact, I am part of this one big whole. So what I do and what I achieve and what I want is connected to everything and everyone. So the consequences that rise up from my working in the world, the consequences are not only for me, but for the planet and for everyone and for everything. That's worthy of consideration when I'm deciding what to go for. For example, I might decide I want to manifest a car. And so I do all the work, the visualizing and get the prayer and the support, to do everything I need to do, and it comes about. And then with it comes expanded relationship and expanded responsibilities. For example, now I have the car. I also have a relationship with the DMV. Now I also have a relationship with the oil industry. I have a relationship with mandatory insurance. I'm now participating in pollution. I'm now creating a potential hazard for other people I don't even know. Wow. Or I might say, well, let's do something more personal. I want to manifest a relationship. So I go about it, I do the same things, get my mind clear image, have everything in place, and I manifest the relationship. And along with it comes so much. All of his or her family and all those relationships, and now all kinds of communication dynamics, and his or her religion of origin and the potential baggage and incomplete, unhealed relationships with that, work ethic, and then if there are children, dreams and aspirations, so much. So that when thinking about manifesting anything, we're invited to go beyond the surface of what it looks like to consider how it relates to the whole. How it expands my responsibility, not only for myself, but for everyone. So I can ask important questions. For me, for example, I can ask, what do I become if this manifestation succeeds? And do I want the changes that come with it beyond the surface? And am I willing to be responsible for those changes that are brought into other people's lives by me going in this direction? Just so that there's a little depth. You see, they get us by saying you can have it all. What they mean is, you're going to get it all. Yay! Right. Okay, so we got the first one, relationship to the whole, and the second one is this, it's environment. And it comes in the form of this question: does my current environment support this new version of life that I'm looking to birth into being? So I thought of a whimsical example. If I'm looking to manifest a hamster because I see it fulfills my need for companionship and, I don't know, whatever. And I take the hamster home, well, the environment at home is not hospitable to a hamster because my cat, Andrew, will kill it. So a whole lot has to change. One of them is going to have to live in a cage permanently. And even then, it's not certain that it'll be okay. Do you see what I mean? The environment is not hospitable. Or let me try to say it this way. If I'm in the desert and I'm looking to manifest water, well, it's not impossible, I suppose, just because it's never happened before. But I might start to notice that environment and my intention have some sort of collaborative possibilities. I might start to think about that. Or here's another way of looking at it. What if I have the intention to become the President of the United States of America? So much has to change to accommodate that, right? I would have had to have been born in a different country for a start, this one. Well, the Constitution would have to change, and so the will and the desire of the people would have to change. Now, I'm not saying I shouldn't go for something just because it's never happened before, but I'm noticing the opportunity to match my environment to the greater yet to be as much as I possibly can. I've got a part in this. I can put myself in an environment that is welcoming and hospitable to this greater yet to be that I'm looking at. And not only put myself in the environment, but also engage in the environment so it with all its resources, can engage with me. For example, if I think I want to be an artist, so I decide to go and live in a community where there are lots of artists, but I actually never go out of my house and don't catch anybody's eye, I'm waiting for art to reveal itself to me, then that's what I'm talking about, not matching the environment. I have to step out and make sure that the way I step out, that there is an attitude of openness in me. And that brings me to the third item. So first of all, relationship to the whole matters. 2, foster an environment that is welcome. And third, my attitude, or let me call it like this, my energy field, my force field around me. This is important. You know that a person who is pessimistic can fill up the whole entire room with that energy without having to say a single word or doing anything physical. For example, haven't you ever walked into a room and without knowing why, you still know that an argument just took place in there because something of the energy still lingers? Fortunately, the same is true with joy and happiness. It lingers and can be generated. The staff and I, we support each other in prayer once a week. And this past week, we got an email in the middle of the week saying, to take a moment to pause and think about the prayer you're working on, and then supplement that by bringing into your mind the image of somebody that you love very, very much. And so many people wrote and said, wow, what a simple technique. Because wherever I was, because how mind goes into the details, just by the simple technique, they changed their force field and were opened like this. That's how simple it is. And that's a place where we seem to have some self-determination. I can at any moment pause and think about something that is not superficially happy, but deeply, meaningfully, heart-openedly, connectedly, soul-satisfying. And it makes a difference. So we're asking the question there, does my force field welcome, does it let in that greater yet to be I'm going for? Does my energy, my emotional energy, my thought energy, is it an environment that matches what I'm working towards? Our atmosphere is so important. In my previous job, I used to sit in on interviews for job positions, new job positions, and learn to watch the process. And one of the things I noticed is that it often was the case that a job, a position, would not go to the best qualified person. It would often go to somebody who was a good match to the heart and soul of the company's vision and dream. And I saw subjective influences come into play in the interview process. And people who were able to connect with others and get on with others in the meeting, that I noticed they go further. When their energy was welcoming, there seemed to be an unspoken trust that energy was more important than know-how, expertise. It reminded me of that phrase that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. In the book of the month, The Laws of Manifestation by David Spangler, he encourages us to think of manifestation more as an act of incarnation than as an act of attraction or getting or drawing. See, incarnation is the becoming, my becoming. Think of manifestation as your becoming, growing into, then drawing, this idea of attraction from outside to in. Now we're reversing it. What am I becoming? And he also says, think of manifestation more like a marathon than a 100-meter dash. See, because a 100-meter dash, you've got to put everything, a short burst of energy, give it as much as you've got, and it's done, short duration. Now, I remember when I was in the Air Force and we ran long distances, that a marathon is similar to this, I believe. After that initial burst of energy, you got to keep on running, because this point comes where the message from your body is just like, I don't know that I can. And there's this hump that you gotta get over, and then when you get over, different things get called into play. I remember that, and it occurred to me that life is similar when we are going for something that we want to become. Because we start off with the initial clarity and burst of energy, and then ordinary things happen, and mind goes to it. Very ordinary thing, like the demands of our routine, the responsibilities of our relationships, the ordinary challenges of just being alive. And after a while, the dust and grime of the journey, we wonder if we can even remember what it was that we were going for. So it becomes apparent that we have to stay with the energy that is welcoming the outcome without becoming obsessive or clingy. And so what comes into mind is a maintenance program. And what we would call that in our tradition is a daily spiritual practice. See, and what we recommend is you start every morning with your practice, and you have the freedom to design that. Does it include meditation? Does it include prayer? Is it reading sacred writings? Is it journaling? What is it? But whatever you do, we recommend that you start fresh every morning and hold high before you the direction that you're going in. It's what I do. It's my daily spiritual practice. I use those various techniques to check in. Ask myself, what is it I need to know about this? What is mine to do? Where do I need to stop clinging, to sit with it? And then, with such a program in place, then the ordinary occurrences of life, like random negative thoughts or random spats of worry, or the general setbacks of life, then they don't become they don't become deal breakers. They just become more easily integrated, worked through as part of the landscape of life, because you're going to start again in the morning. So for you, my friends, I have a recommended practice strategy while we learn again about manifestation. And I invite you to try something. Practice manifestation. However, rather than try manifesting an object or a condition in the world, turn your focus to yourself and try this out. See what you can prove for yourself. Aim to manifest a state of being in you. Maybe it's an expansion of something that's already in you and you'd just like to see it thrive. Or maybe it's a new way of being that you've known for a while that you long to be like that. And so then you say to yourself, let my goal be to manifest deep listening this week. Or go through the week with peace and centeredness, a kind of poise. I want to have that. Or I really want my communication this week to be steeped in compassion. Or this week, I want to live my life like somebody who practices gratitude as a way of life. See, let that be your goal. And then you can ask the questions we've been considering. Who will I become if this manifestation succeeds? And do I want all the changes that go with that? And you can think about your environment too. Ask yourself, now where do I spend my time? And let's say compassionate communication was your choice. Then you can say, is compassionate communication a high value in the environment where I spend most of my time and activity? And if not, then I can adjust that by at least diverting some of my time to a place where it is valued, where I can practice. And then you can check every morning, check on your energy field. Is it a welcoming energy to this state of being that you're looking to birth in you? And you can do whatever you need to get support for that. You can read about that. You can get prayer support. You can call our Dial a Thought inspired message 20 times a day if you want to. And then that way, you can prove for yourself what it says in A New Design for Living, that when it comes to this work, there's no alibi, because there is no reason on earth or in heaven why you and I should not succeed when we work with manifestation in this way. Let us pray. There is only one presence, we call it God, that which is everywhere present, above and below and inside and outside, across all time and all space. It is the fabric of creation. It is the mind that conceives of creation. And it is our individual realities too. We think through the mind of God, we love through the heart of God, and create through the genius of God. And so today, by means of this prayer, we are becoming clear of that and the options that it lays before each one of us. We feel the awesome responsibility of participating in creation and the glorious possibilities that are available to us. And so we say the words, I am an expression of unlimited spirit. I am awake to the tremendous creative nature of my thought. I am able to think in such a way so that I contribute great good all around me. And as I say these words, I know that by means of this prayer and the spiritual laws that govern the universe, and by the power of the creative mind within me, I am becoming that. And even further, I realize I was always that. And so, with gratitude for this and everything that has gone into this feeling of openness, and with gratitude for the people around me and my life, I simply entrust everything that is to follow. I entrust it to the laws that govern the universe. And I relax into the deep knowing that I am at home in this spiritual universe. And together we say, and so it is. And I invite you to breathe in with me and sigh.